Hitscan settings. I should have chopped these up a little bit more, but I have been rambling. I'm also quite ill. I had a bit of a relapse of long COVID recently. Sorry. So, Hitscan settings, use tracer hit correction. Basically, it means if you're shooting at a moving target and on your screen you hit, well, normally you'd instantiate a impact prefab at the world coordinate where you hit. But if they're moving really fast, and like our projectiles which have lag compensation, our hit scans don't. So they're moving really fast, you hit them. By the time the RPC instantiates the effect on the other computer, they would have already moved and it wouldn't look like you've hit their car. So by having tracer hits correction, what we do is, and here's the exciting bit, and I'm just going to show you the code because I'd rather walk you through that. We go and get raycast tracer details. So we basically fire an original true round, and it's very much like what we're doing to get our target point. So we fire hit stand weapon, and it basically gets us a bunch of details all put in a struct. Now this struct contains... I am so sorry, Matt is going to hate me because I am not using Control F. Raycast hit details. So you've got the world point of where you hit. You've also got the local hit point relative to the transform that you hit. You have the transform that you hit. You have a boolean. Does the target I hit have health? And valid target. Did I actually hit something? Yes or no? Because structs don't really like nulls. Don't really like checking for null references. So I've got that. So basically go, yeah. If we have health, if we shot something with health, we've shot something interesting, and we're going to have to do some corrections because we can assume that it might be moving. So we go back into here, and we fire our tracer, and we get all that, and we get all the details, and then we go through. And then as soon as we do that, we just apply damage because we hit. And cool. We've hit them. We've applied damage. Now let's do the graphical bits, which are less important than actually the gameplay stuff. So, local firing procedure. Like, if we hit, then play a raycast effect, which plays sound on hit, and we do this. If we miss, but still actually hit something, do this one. Otherwise, do this one. And then we have, if we're not using repertoire optimization, which I'll go on to later, this is the bit that is shown for everyone else. These are the remote firing procedures. If we have applied corrections, then what we need to do is we need to get the team ID of the thing that we hit if network player vehicle is valid. And it gets the team ID. And this is because we cannot pass transforms via RPC. They're also, aside from the fact that they're loaded with a bunch of local context, they just don't like being RPC because they're big chunky datas. And we get that and we go, we fire the hit square red sound effect corrected on everyone. And we go here. Do the animation, and then we are going to get a reference to the vehicle we have just hit. And the reason why we need to do this is, once again, imagine they're going fast, you hit them, you are going to get the local transform. You're going to get the local position of where you hit the moving transform on your instance, transfer over the local transition, get that transform again on somebody else's computer, and instantiate the effect at the exact same position relative to the vehicle. And once you've got that reference, it basically means that once you've been hit, it looks like you've actually been hit on everyone's computer, because you go and the ricochet comes out the side of the van and it all works. So you go and get that. You go and get their transform. You do some vector maths, and then you convert it back into world point, and then you do the we've just instantiated muzzle flash there, and that works. And that means it's all nice and correct. and the rest are not. If we don't hit somebody or we haven't got the setting turned on, then just basically do things normally and instantiate a instantiate a hit impact at wherever you hit. It just works. So cool. Yeah. So then I've got one last interesting thing to talk about, which is the Hitscan rapid fire optimization setting. If you're using a really fast weapon, say like a minigun or something, you're going daka daka daka, and that's a lot of remote procedure calls to do every time you shoot, isn't it? I mean, like we don't really care what we don't really care about what each tracer looks like and where exactly the graphical effects of the minigun's bullets actually hit. So this is what the rapid fire optimization setting is for, which I've developed. And so, like I said, normally you fire, pew, sends an RPC, gets the hit point, and goes, oi, I shot here, make an effect there, and also make a muzzle flash and do a tracer, if the tracer is applicable. What the rapid fire setting does is just say, yeah, we're firing really fast. The person who owns the gun fires, and yeah, the person who owns the gun fires, and then on everybody else's computer, it says, yeah, we're firing. So like the moment they put down the mouse button, we're firing. Daka 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 daka. And then we tell that to everyone else. And what they do is a simulated fire, where they basically just fire off the graphical effects of all the tracers coming out the rounds, daka daka daka, but they don't actually do any damage at all. It's purely graphical. It just will saturate the ground and do all the calculations on their own computer, which means we don't need to send the data over the network. The only thing we need to send over the network is, yeah, this gun's firing, or this gun's not firing. And basically we've got a little timeout setting, which should always just be slightly higher than the fire rate. So you say, yeah, I'm going to stop these firing effects on my computer and tell everyone to stop them after this amount of time I've not been firing. And look, in practice it works. You can poo-poo that all you like. It's really, really efficient and it's great. Does it in a coroutine. So we basically set, every time that you fire your gun, you set, yeah, I'm firing. If the bool to say I'm firing is not the same, you tell everyone else to synchronize it. And whenever that happens, you do it via a little RPC. I could stream this, but I've done it via RPCs because the RPC lets us start a coroutine, remote firing effects, and remote firing effects basically goes, yeah, whilst this gun is remotely firing, just fire a bunch of effects. Just pretend that we're firing forward. It works. There's a target point. I need to do a little bit with projectile deviation just to make it look proper nice, but for now, it does work. So yes. And yeah, that's whoa, what's it not liking in this? Oh, I think it's fine. I'm not getting an errors. Whoa. Oh, that's because I... There we go. I must have just finger slipped. Anyway, those are weapons. Could go into details about projectiles, do that in a bit.